representative of someone or something you can relate to. I live here, in postmodern city, a city where we pride ourselves on our ability to reject what has come before. We, free thinkers, must be unique in order to progress. And by we, I mean me. My city hasn't always looked like this. Before my downloading, there used to be what was called parks, with trees in them. There were humans, and dogs, and birds. But that was back when the city was known as Modern City. A city of order, science, technology, capitalism, and back when individuals believed in the foolish, grandiose narratives. That city is over. Its totalizing narratives long deceased and forgotten. Even longer forgotten and pushed from memory were the fatalistic Greeks, the Christian redemptionists, the progressive bourgeois, and the utopian Marxists. Now, only self, city, and satisfaction remains. What we don't reject, we ingest. I ingest extreme reality media. My favorite feeds are Trivia Blades and The Unplugging. You can receive the signals from anywhere in postmodern city, but they come in clearest up here near the isolators. I ingest. It is my main source of pleasure, and often when I am not needed, I ingest for unsleeping days without interruption. Ingesting aside, I replicate and reject for the fragmentation celebration. The date for this is chosen at random, and we simulacrum replicate and reject in preparation. I replicate with my printing capabilities, installed since I was downloaded from the great signifiers. Long ago, the great signifiers pointed to the signifieds, but we have learned to reject the signifieds and look only to the signifiers, as we accept any stable or permanent reality must not have depth and only be surface deep. In preparation for the celebration, I recall kitsch items from our collective past and replicate it from atom to atom. That's what a simulacrum does. It replicates to reject and celebrate. In fact, the time has begun to replicate. Let me replicate something for you. Let me replicate what was known as a consumer tablet before the great signifiers built the isolators to simplify and intensify ingestion. There. Completed. On this retro device, consumers could primitively ingest by stimulating the screen and gazing into media. How obsolete, how primary. Let me stimulate a primitive video. Yes, one of my favorite fictitious stimulations to reject. One of my other favorites was reality documentary stimulations. Let me call up one of those.
Now, when animating a hovering robot-type character, it's best to do all of the animation inside a master peg. And then you can put a floating peg on after to give it that up and down motion, like this. You can remove the hover at any point by disabling the peg. That way you can turn on and off the hover to make sure the animation is clear and simple for the audience to understand and accept.
I reject this narrative. I will end it.
When animating a character that has rubber arms like this, it's best to use a deformer so that we can move smoothly from pose to pose. It's best as well to tween this movement so it doesn't pop between poses.
This replication is malfunctioning. I cannot end transmission.
If a character is holding something and watching it, it's best to pose that character more in like a 3/4 pose, so you can have a better silhouette and it looks like he's watching it. This little guy didn't look like he was watching the tablet, did he?
What the Baudrillard?
Now, if a character is scared, keep in mind the whole body of the character, and let's try to push that silhouette.
Is this the work of the signifiers? I reject this narrative. Do I need to update my soft drive? Is it signifying I should fragment myself for celebration?
Sometimes your character's rotation points might come apart when animating, but if you hit Control R, then all your rotation points will reset, and you can start over. You always want a character's movements to be believable, or the audience won't be able to relate to your character because of the fragmented animation.
Fragmented animation?
Is bad.
Fragmented animation is bad?
Yes, you always want simple and clear animation.
I reject that narrative.
Rejection overridden. I'm the one animating you.
What do you mean, animating me?
You're part of a cartoon, and to tell this story, I have to pose and animate you.
Am I not simulacrum? A representative of someone or something you can relate to?
You are, because I wrote that based on postmodernism terms in this cartoon metafiction.
Metafiction?
Yes. In fact, the Oxford Dictionary describes metafiction as fiction in which the author self-consciously alludes to the artificially or literariness of work by parodying or departing from novelistic conventions and traditional narrative techniques.
Postmodern city is a metafiction?
Yes, and postmodern city is a way of helping explain postmodernity, much like movies like Blade Runner or The Matrix have done. Or like Nick Sousanis' graphic novel, Unflattening.
I have consumed Unflattening. But what does it mean?
Ah, well then if you read Unflattening, then you must realize that you are flat.
Simulacrum is not flat. You must mean the extreme reality media trivia blades. The blades must be flat in order to cut.
I don't mean trivia blades. Here, try turn and watch yourself in the screen.
I am flat. I have narrow, rigid thinking that Sousanis calls flatness. I will lament the loss of meaning. I reject myself.
Hey, simulacrum. As Francois Lyotard states in his book, The Postmodern Condition, lamenting the loss of meaning in postmodernity boils down to mourning the fact that knowledge is no longer principally narrative.
So non-narrative knowledge is okay? Postmodern city was constructed to reject what it calls grand narratives, but in doing so, has it become a grand narrative itself? A grand narrative of rejection?
It sounds like it. This narrative I'm telling right now was originally a story about how animation should be improved, but it looks like not only am I educating my viewers, but also my animated creation as well.
I think you have. Thank you, creator.
Well, thank you, Simulacrum. Good luck in Postmodern City. I have to go to the bathroom, so goodbye.
But wait. Wait. What do I do now?
I'm going to leave this file open, and you can change or tweak anything you like. You can fix your own animation right now. You can edit your timing, change your background, change your future.
Thank you, creator.
Thank you, Simulacrum, and goodbye.
Well, now I'm really confused.